Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Motorsport Manager, and it is week 20 of competition. My normal is to race one, skip one, race one, skip one when it comes to videos. However, I have an odd number of races in the year, and I have a pretty exciting race going on here that I felt was worth going ahead and starting a video. So we are in lap 7 of 32 in the next race on the calendar. We are in Munich, and the weather has made things a little interesting, and so far has played brilliantly into my hands. So again, we're just on lap 7. I am currently second and third on the grid. We started dry. A lot of cars were on soft tires. I had both cars on super softs. And then we've had this thunderstorm, heavy thunderstorm. A few of the cars came out on inters, and I had to turn around and go in and pit. But just as heavy as it was, it looks like it's going to come to a pretty abrupt end, and the track looks like it's going to dry out pretty fast. So I will be turning right back around here at some point and getting back onto dry weather tires, and racing on from there, and then we'll have to keep an eye on the weather throughout the race. So as long as I don't mess up the timing horribly on the upcoming pit stop, my cars are really benefiting from the drastic change in track conditions so far. Go ahead and use ERS here on both cars. Give them both a nice healthy boost. So we're just on lap 9 of 32. We've got a long ways to go, but again, this track is going to dry out real fast. So I need to time this to perfection. Track's already down to wet conditions, but it's definitely not ready yet. The few cars that did pit already are losing a ton of time. 0.2 per pop. 1 to 0.2 per tick, so it is not time to pit yet. At the same time, these tires, use them up, because we are going to be pitting soon. Here we go. First car is in Calderon. Here comes second car. Carroll also coming down pit road, and they are changing tires. And look how fast it's drying out. So I'm wondering if I should get one of them in now. Maybe Errant. Ooh, hold on. Oh, we still got a little while. Okay, there's one. 2 more cars. How's their time looking now? They're still losing time. They are still losing time on the track, but look how close it is to drying out. So Errant is going to come down this time, and we are going to go for, it's going to stay dry, which means I want the softs. We're going to fill up. What I opted for in terms of bonuses, which, by the way, I got my settings, my setup for both cars really good, really fast during the practice session for this race. I also tried something new, weight stripping, which was a new rule introduced to the GP3 category for this season. I went ahead and weight stripped all of my parts. The spec parts are not allowed, but I weight stripped all of them to 90%. Now, the only part that wasn't stripped was the engine for Errant. That was only, I think, 86% starting out at the beginning of the race. So all the parts were stripped down to 90%, adding a little bit more performance to them, making them that much faster. And you can already see I pushed when other cars didn't because I knew we were going to have to pit. But besides that, my car is definitely fast, both cars. Alright, looks like we'd come out somewhere around 12th at this point. So somewhere in this gap, but you know some of these cars are going to pit, and that's just from 3rd to 12th, so we're still going to be ahead of quite a few cars. That's how much things have opened up in this race compared to the normal race due to pit stop strategies here. Alright, so here comes Arendt. Gil is pushing for one more lap. There we go, Arendt onto the softs. Okay, we're going to get that down to neutral, get that down to high. And there you go, Arendt back out on the track, currently in 3rd. Gil is doing that one additional lap. We need to get Gil in now. Hopefully that one lap isn't going to hurt us too much. And I think that transition from fast to slow may just hold out. We'll see how fast Arendt is gaining on Gil. Pretty quick. But it was going the opposite. So Gil's the last one on the track to pit. But look at the time gaps. So Gil should still be probably 2nd. I think Paragon is going to get ahead of us. But that means we're going to come back out 2nd and 3rd just like we were. And Gil's got 1 lap fresher on the tires. 1 more lap of fuel compared to everyone else. Okay, so Arendt has caught up to Gil, but Gil did retain that position. So there was only maybe a 2-second loss for Gil. Both cars looking pretty good on the ERS right now, and track condition is dry and looks like it's going to stay dry for a while. It's sunny right now. It's going to get cloudy, but no sign of rain, at least till about 2/3 of the way through the race. So Gil's going to use up ERS this time. When we get to the front stretch, that's definitely the best place to use it, front stretch or back stretch. And we are losing to Johnson. Yeah, Johnson was so fast in the last race. Okay, here we go. Gil taking off. Oh, that's not Gil, that's Arendt. Clicked on the wrong one. Arendt just closed right up on Gil there. But was just too far back for a pass. Okay, here we go. Now Gil's going to get the back stretch then. Stretch that thing back out, that lead over Arendt. But solidly running 2nd and 3rd right now. We are 12 seconds behind Paragon, so I can kiss his butt goodbye. But and Johnson, I would imagine Johnson's going to have the speed to move on past us. But could we hang on for one of these cars on the podium? I don't know. We've got 19 laps to go, 19 laps to figure it out. It looks like it might stay dry throughout. So if we are a mid-pack car, even if we just drop back 1, 2, 3 positions, we're looking at maybe a 6th and 7th, if not better, today. So pretty happy about that. And in terms of laps, we might have one more stop left to get to the end, if we're lucky. Both cars are starting to heat up, so I've got to be careful on that. This might help, backing off the engine mode a little bit, though that probably will mean that Johnson's going to be able to make a move past us here pretty soon. Arendt, this might be a good time to use up that ERS. Open that gap back up a little bit. Oh, good timing too, because Johnson just used his as well. Use Gill's on the back stretch, and Gill will have plenty left. While Aaron that cleaned her out. Oh, here comes Johnson for the move. Meanwhile, Gill's gonna stretch that right out. Nice. Gill's got a big gap right now. Aaron does hang on for now, but Johnson is certainly closing and looking to make a move. We are just about the halfway point on the race, and the track has finally dried out, almost completely anyway. Okay, both cars are starting to overheat, even though we're just in neutral tire mode. That's the track that we're on. Johnson uses his ERS and cannot make the pass, but he does. It gave him just enough speed at the start of the stretch that over the long haul, he was just able to get ahead. I saw that coming a long time ago, so no surprise there. Johnson seems to have the fastest car on the grid here, at least in the early part of the season, and I by no means can match that. And Paragon is totally pulling away. Paragon's very fast too, and has the advantage of starting at the front because of all the DNFs. So Paragon and Johnson, definitely the strongest car. Alright, we got a couple cars pitting already, putting on those softs as early as they did. Definitely having a negative impact on them, putting us that much further ahead. This whole group here from 6th to 9th looks like they're going to have to pit soon as well. And meanwhile, my cars are still good to go for quite a while. In fact, you look up and down the grid, we've got the best car right now outside of those who just pit a moment ago in terms of tire wear. This could really play into my hand, as I think I can get to the end on just one last stop here. And many cars aren't going to make it. Like Coloron is guaranteed to have to stop. Hubert probably going to have to stop again. There's quite a few laps to go, and here you go, another round of pit stops. Quite a few cars in the pits right now. So this is going to open things up even further. Aaron slipping back. Gill is passed there by Johnson, slipping to 3rd place, but with quite a bit of ERS here in the bag. I'm going to need to use some of this on the front stretch. Small chance we can get back ahead of Johnson, who is now below 50% on the tires and is likely going to have to back off a bit. Alright, Gill's getting a run going there, and still 60%, but despite that, Johnson was able to pull away. So the difference in engine quality definitely showed there. I've got 4 to 5 laps worth of fuel left, and good tire wear on both cars right now. Aaron will be pitting ahead of Gill, but it's amazing how well the cars are hanging on, and conditions still look to remain dry through the end. Let's speed things up just a little bit here. I'm not pitting anytime soon. Okay, how we're doing. ERS needs to get used up here. Johnson's only pulled away slightly. Paragon is about to pit. I'm surprised Paragon didn't pit this time. Let's see. Gill, let's get you going. Let's get you going. There's your run. There's your run. Okay, they both still have a decent amount of ERS going. Now, Mayna is catching Arendt. Arendt is going to need to pit here in one more lap. So we're going to get one more lap. And so that means let's go ahead and step this up a little bit. And let's step that up as well. Arendt's down to 37%, so next lap. Not this lap, not this lap, next lap. And yes, it looks like we are going to stay dry to the end of the race. Only the last few laps could change, but it looks like it's going to be sunny at the end of the race. So we are not facing any changes in weather delay. Wow, we have lapped shoe, but they were in doing repairs on the car as well. Okay, so Aaron just luckily had Shu come out right in between them and Mena and just opened up a nice healthy gap. And Mena is toast when it comes to tires. So Aaron is going to come in this lap. And we're going to put on softs to get us to the end of the race. I don't think I'm going to need to fill up. No. Okay, that supposedly will get us to the end. So let's do that. 13-second pit stop. And this will get us to the end of the race. And Gil's going to make it one more lap. Let's go ahead and attack, though. And go into overtake mode. So right now we are hanging on to second and third. Of course, Paragon is virtually ahead of us, as Paragon's already pit. And Paragon put on soft. So Paragon's probably going to be good to go to the end of the race. Pit stop good so far. And there we go. Aaron coming back out. Johnson just pit. So Gil did take the lead for now. And Gil's going to be pitting this time. Okay, and so Gil, let's get you ready to pit. Boy, I don't know. I don't have a bonus on soft tires. My bonus was for the intermediates, which I never even got to run in the race. But I didn't take a bonus, actually. I took the bonus on changing tires because I knew we'd be making so many stops. So, do I want to go for the softs? Will I make it to the end on the softs? I don't know. It's 10 laps. There's going to be 9 laps remaining, and I don't know if those tires will really make it 9 laps for me. It says 11 to 13, but I'm going to cancel for just a moment. I still have a little bit of time to figure this out, and let's look at who's on softs and who's not. Alright, pause. It's time to make that decision. Lots of cars coming out on softs. Johnson's the only one on super softs, and I'm not going to catch Johnson. I'm just going to accept that right now. And these guys are all going to have to pit again. They're not making it to the end. So the only car risking it right now is Johnson. I know it's a lap later. But it's not worth the risk if only one car is going. And I'm just not that good on tire wear. So Gil, we're going to go with the softs. Get you to the end. Okay, that's supposedly enough. Let's get you one extra lap worth of fuel. Something to burn, something to push. Car condition's going to be good to go to the end. And here we go. Okay, into the pits. Good stop so far. Down to second. Refueling. Done. Heading back out onto the track. And we're going to come out third. Third and fourth. Okay, as expected. Errant does have a lot just behind who is on super softs, but they are super softs that are and a light fuel load. But Lot will have to pit again, while Errant is good to go to the end. So there's no good fighting over that position, but I will use my ERS and open the gap up a little bit anyway. And Gil, just about full. So here on the front stretch when we get there, we'll be using that as well. And I do have excess fuel to burn on both cars. And I might want to burn it sooner as opposed to later in the race, making us a little bit lighter. Okay, Gil's going to be coming around the front stretch here in a moment. And there we go. Johnson just set a new fastest lap on those super softs. All right. There goes Lot into the pits and fixing parts. Alright, so we're back to Mena, the one that's tailing, and Mena's actually fallen back a bit from where they were, and Mena's tires are a bit more gone. Aaron has a small chance of hanging on to fourth. I think Gil's got a pretty good chance of hanging on to third and get the podium for this race. We're looking pretty solid on that. Let's go ahead and turn this up a little bit. And Gil, let's use up that ERS again now while we have nice fresh tires and can get good lap times. Okay. Still have some left, so that's good. Alright, we're going to speed this up for about a lap. Okay, that gap is closing. Aaron's not holding it terribly well. Here's a good time to use that ERS up. There we go, that opened things right back up with Mena. Looks like Bursak's definitely going to have to pit again. Solorio's pitting now. Johnson might have to pit again. If Johnson does pit, then I could be looking at 2 cars on the podium for the first time ever for my team. I've only had, 3 total podiums? Or 4? 3 or 4 total podiums here in our 4th season, and I've got a shot to get both cars on the podium. But again, that's entirely down to Johnson or Paragon pitting before the end of the race. More likely Johnson, as Johnson's on the super sauce and they are about halfway gone, or Johnson just getting down to 0 tread left on the final lap or so and being able to outrace. Meanwhile, though, I've got a contest with Mena coming from behind. Pulcini's tires are too far gone, so Pulcini's not going to threaten and is far enough back. So it's really just Mena who's a threat to Arendt's position. Meanwhile, let's take a look at Gil. I've got to watch the tire wear. We are getting to that point where they are going to start burning quickly. But I think I have enough tires to get to the end. Yeah, just over 4 laps left for both cars. I better back off for Arendt, though. 60%. I wanted to use that ERS. I just used a tiny bit there, but less than I wanted. Excess fuel. Got to keep an eye on that. We are inside 4 laps now, so I think we're still good. But that means Gil could actually really turn it on and go into overtake mode. There's that backstretch. Get that on for just a moment. So Gil will just kind of keep getting those bursts of speed to get up to speed fast. Alright, looking good. Coming up on 3 laps to go. There, use up a little bit. You still got a little ERS there, and we've opened up a bit of a gap on Mena now. So Mena is slid back about half a second to a second further back now. I don't know if that's going into that conserve mode on their tires or not. Let's see. Or fuel, trying to conserve fuel. Pulcini just went into the pits, so that opened up more of a gap behind us. Jorg is the next one back behind Mena now. And Johnson, look at those tires getting down to nothing with 2 laps to go. So Gil, 55%, you're going to make it there on tires. So Gil's going to go all out for the final 2 laps. And Arendt, let's go ahead and go to neutral. We're not quite hot on those tires yet, though they're going to burn a little faster right now. But 44%. Arendt will make it to the end on these tires, no problem. And the engine mode, I'm not quite ready to turn it up just yet. Okay, I think Aaron's going to hold that gap to Mena, I think. Final lap has started for Paragon, not for my cars yet. Okay, here we go. Aaron, open up. Open up. Yeah! Open that gap up. Nice. Okay, 1.2 laps of fuel, though. Let's turn that down a little as we crossed. Okay, here goes Gil. Going to use up that ERS. Okay, we've got one more chance here on the back. We'll open that up as actually, we'll wait for that finish line. Johnson's tires are down to nothing. We are gaining, I think, on Johnson. Gap is shrinking. Okay, there goes Gil pushing for third place and a podium finish. Here's Arendt. And we're going to push for fourth place. Third and fourth. What a fantastic finish. We were definitely second best car on the day. Very satisfied with that. That is the best team finish that I have had, period, with this team in 4 years of competition with them. We held off Mena to stay in the top 4 for Arendt. Gil was not able to catch Johnson, over 10 seconds behind, but the Paragon and Johnson duo are a far superior team. If I can consistently start running as a second or third team on the grid, then we can really start to pick up some points this season and do well. And if Paragon continues to have DNFs, as they did in 3 out of the first 4 races, I actually could contend for promotion this season. So from total back marker to making just enough improvement to suddenly start competing at the front. That's how quick things can go when you get the balance just right. I don't think I'm ready for that promotion just yet this season, but I definitely can see cracking the top 3 or 4 teams this year. So Johnson picks up fastest time again. I think Johnson's might be a favorite at this point for winning the Drivers' Championship this year. Oh, Joel Erickson, drive-through penalty. No DNFs. Everybody finished that race. So that's pretty solid to finish 3rd and 4th. And we weren't down by a massive margin, even though Paragon started on the pole because of being last place in the standings after 3 DNFs and having an excellent driver and an excellent car. And we were only 17 seconds back. So that's a solid performance. Arendt moves up to 4th place in the standings, 1 point either way of 3rd or 5th. And Gil jumps to 12th in the standings, which means it's going to be a lot tougher in this next race as both drivers move up in the standings, which means their starting spot on the grid is going to drop back further. But as a team, I have jumped 2 teams from 6th to 4th place in the standings and 94 points after just 4 rounds. I only had about 120 something all last year, and in the maybe the 110s the year before. So we're actually approaching our total points from the last couple of seasons halfway through the season this year. So huge gulf between where the team was a year ago and where it is now. I'm losing small amounts of money race by race, but not a big deal, especially when it comes to signing new sponsorship deals. The only big thing is that we're spending a lot on engines right now, which they cost a lot more than anything else does. But here at the Formula One level, Mercedes continues to be on top, just 1 point apart from each other. And if you've been following the series, you would know that this year, even though Lewis Hamilton won the title a year ago, he was relegated to reserve driver in favor of George Russell, who just won this race and is 1 point behind Bottas. And then Red Bull is ahead of Ferrari this year. All right, well, we're not going to get too much further in this episode, but I am going to take a few minutes to give you an update on kind of where we're at on things. I think I'm going to have a new sponsorship to sign here. I did make some changes to the pit crew after the end of the last race going into this one that definitely had an impact, and has my pit crew now up to third on the grid. Let's go ahead and start with a quick update on the emails. Simple question: which one of your drivers is better? Aaron, slightly. Sorry, Gil. Okay. Nice new record for pit stop, and no mistakes. Okay, let's take a look at that pit crew and the changes. So I added in 3 new pit crew members and fired 1 last week, so I'm down to 2 vacancies. But let's see, Wells is one that I brought in. Look at that, 14-14 and a 92 cap on the stamina. Let's see, I think Padilla and Marquette were the other ones. So these 3 are all new. And you can see how much better they are over everybody else. And let's look and see if once again this week, I like the 99 stamina, but definitely not going to hire somebody like that. And 11-11 is good. This could be a decent Jackman, but it's only a 77 on stamina. And somebody who's got a 12 on tire changing. These are the only 2 in contention, but with low stamina, I don't think I'm going to take either of them. I don't think I'm that desperate right now. And actually, if I go back into scouting, I'm going to need to reject a bunch of these. Just reject them all. Get new candidates next time. Okay, and then quick update here on everybody. Okay, got an 8-10. It's gonna make us slower next week, but that'll give Padilla a chance to recover the stamina lost. This one's an 86-86, so we want to get them out there. Especially over this week. Rear jack. I just checked contracts last week, so I don't need to worry about that this time. Okay, here's a 10 if we need. And an 83. The front jackman could probably use a replacement. Give them one more week. At 70-40 should be fine. So that'll be my group, and that actually moved us up to second. Getting the time down to about 14 seconds for a pit stop. A big part of that is the fueling time that I've noticed. You get somebody good at refueling, and that really brings your time down. If you look at the tires, it's less than 3 seconds. The jacks is 1.5 seconds. Really, the first place that someone should invest, refueling. So like if I get Padilla and Wells in there side by side, that's really fast. All right, so car repair complete. And then let's look at what we have on the car now. So I just got a new engine done that's already really high on performance at 383 and tops out at 404, but comes in with low condition. And I had it set the other way to improve some parts. I wanted to really get these done, and I'm actually going to keep that going. It'll be done 8 days before the race, and then I can shift over that focus. I want to get those parts up. Now, what I did was the weight stripping, that 90% weight stripping, and it looks like it was just for the race itself, because everybody is back down to 100% reliability. Okay. So running at 90% is completely appropriate. Maybe even 80% is going to be appropriate to get even more out of the car. Okay, first vote coming up, and it's looking at a big change in the points system for this year. But I've got a quick scouting thing to do. Let's see. 3-star, but only 40% marketability, so I'm not going to put them on my short list. Not like that. And we're down to the 22 to 28-year-olds, and I've just been going down the list at this point. I've got so many scouted already, and I'm definitely not looking for new drivers right now. So they're talking about changing the point system from points for all to points just for the top 6. Which is what they have here in the F2 or GP2 category. Will benefit me as a traditional team. Why do you think I'm a traditional team? Now, while I think I can start consistently grabbing top 6 performances, I don't like this. I like points for all. Plus, I'd have to change my whole scoring system to what I do for the gaming decathlon. So I'm voting against. Ooh, it's tight. It's tight. Okay. It did vote against, though. It was only tight for a moment. Most everybody ended up voting against it. So no change to the rules there. I'm going to have a new sponsorship offer coming up here shortly. Only one so far. Haven't heard a second one. Yeah. Still just the one sponsorship offer so far, surprisingly. Okay, so Ed Jones, decent driver, better than 3 stars, but only 12% marketability. Definitely for me at this level, I know the marketability is extremely important. So I will not hire a driver that does not have high marketability. All right, that new engine is done. We added another 40 to the maximum from the most recent engine that was built. And I'm going to keep right on going until we get the best one that we can get, especially when we have some money to spend this year. And now that we're getting competitive. Okay. Oh, I don't have it unlocked. Well, shoot, this would just make 2 engines of the same type. This is what I already have produced right now. I suppose I'll take 2 of these. That's fine. 2 good engines. Both drivers will benefit from that. So I will get 1 more done there. And it looks like we're kind of just about at the high end of what the car is going to get this season already, even though it's still only the halfway mark. But there is still some room, and especially room for the second car to improve. And speaking of improve, ooh, just 8 days. I want you done before that. 9 days. Okay, should I go for the 1 engine for now? Let me see here. Well, take that one off. I don't need that to improve when I've got 2 better engines now. And how about, what else do we have? Okay, I'll go with this, and then we'll get the 2 engines started. Actually, you know what? I'm building a second engine to match this one. Why don't I take this one off, and we go after just this one, because I'm about to have a second engine done. It's going to be even better. But I need to get that done. There you go. That'll work, I think. Okay, we'll listen for the ticks on the engine. Rather than the sponsors, I mean. Still only 1 sponsorship offer so far. Terrible marketability. Not making my short list. Alright, well, it looks like we're out of time. Here's a huge surprise. Panther race team. Is that supposed to be the Force India? Let's see, Sergio Perez. Oh, Red Bull. Okay. Sergio Perez, I didn't realize he had moved to Red Bull. So Perez gets the win and moves within 1 point of Russell, who looks like Russell didn't grab any points in that race. Yeah, Russell finished 11th there. All right, well, that's all the time I have for this episode. I will be signing a new sponsor. Got a new race coming up in the Ardennes, in Belgium, here in 17 days. And I'll be doing that one probably off camera. And then unless a similar thing happens and we are suddenly competing for another podium again in back-to-back races. And actually that would make 3 races in a row, as we've had back-to-back podiums. Arendt finished 3rd a couple races ago, and Gil grabbed 3rd this last race, with Arendt right behind in 4th. Never had such a good finish, so car's looking good. Really liking how things have gone this season, but we've still got plenty of time left. There are still 5 races left in the season. We're only 4 races in at this point. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my road to the record. Bye for now.